Tiny Teacher, Supplementary Reader, Chapter 1, NCERT Text, CBSE, Class 7. Now coming to the lesson, The Tiny Teacher. So here, the tiny teacher is an ant, which teaches us a lot of things. Though so very small, the ant is unbelievably intelligent and hardworking. So ants are very intelligent and hardworking. Among the various kinds, the commonest ant is the black or red ant. So among them, the common ants we can see is the black or red ant. Ant lives in a comfortable home called ant hill. So where does ant live? Ant lives in a home called ant hill. Name the smallest insect you have seen and the wisest. Is it a fly? No, it isn't. Is it a mosquito? No, not a mosquito. Then it must be a worm. No, none of these. So now, when you say something about insects, we can say that we can never find an insect which is wiser than the ant. It can never be a fly, it can never be a mosquito, it can never be a worm, but it is ant. It is ant, the commonest, the smallest, but the wisest insect. So it is the commonest, the smallest, and the wisest insect you have ever seen in your life. The story of an ant life sounds almost untrue. So when we say something about the story of an ant, it looks very untrue. But people have kept ants as pet. But it is quite astonishing that people have kept ants as pet and have watched their daily behavior closely. They have watched their behavior very closely. So we know a number of facts about the tiny, hardworking, and intelligent creature. So we know a lot of things about these tiny, hardworking, and intelligent creatures. An ant uses its feelers or antenna to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. Watch a row of ants moving up or down the wall. Each ant greets all the others coming from the opposite directions by touching the feelers. So they have the feelers which makes them to talk to each others as they pass by. They greet each others and wish each others and make the opposite ant to feel comfortable when they are moving here and there, and they touch the feelers and make them convey their wishes. There are many kinds of ant. The commonest among them are the black or the red ants. So the commonest among them are the black or red ants. We have seen them since we were children. So we have seen about them from our childhood, but haven't paid enough attention to them. But we never pay attention to these type of ants as they are very common as well as they are very small. Where do they live? In their comfortable homes called nest or anthill. Where do they live? They live in nest and anthill. Each have hundreds of little rooms and passages. They have hundreds of rooms and passages. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lays egg, and others are the nurseries for the young ones called grubs. Other rooms are the nurseries for the young ones called grubs. They are called grubs. Workers have their reserved quarters. The workers have their reserved quarters. They spend most of the time searching for food. They are the ones who search for the food, and some rooms serve as storehouse for this food, and some rooms are kept for the storehouse for this particular food. Soldiers have separate barracks. Soldiers have the separate barracks for their living. No workers has ever tried to live in the soldier's house. So no workers go to the soldier's house. No soldiers has ever gone out in search for food, and no soldiers go for searching foods. No workers or soldiers or cleaners has ever harmed a grub. They never harm each other. and no workers and soldiers or cleaner harm the small grub. So you see, an ant's life is very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely and never fight with other members of the group. So they are having a nice life, peaceful life. They don't fight with each other and live peacefully. So now coming to the comprehension check, the first question is, the story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue. So here the answer to this particular question is, the phrase means it is highly aggravated, or to be remarkable to be true, or not based on facts. So it is too remarkable to be true. Complete the following sentence. An ant is the smallest and wisest and commonest. And we know a number of facts about the ants because people have kept the ants as pet. And in what way is an ant life peaceful? An ant life is peaceful because each of them have their own share of work which they do honestly, wisely and bravely. They do not interfere in each other's work or area. Before moving to the second part, you can see some clips on ant. Ant is the smallest, intelligent and hardworking creatures. You can see how they use the antennas. They talk and greet with other ants. They're the commonest ant, the red ants, black ants. And their comfortable home, the ant hills, and their life cycle. Now coming to the second part of this lesson. The queen ant has a pair of wings which she casts off before she begins to lay egg. Now, the queen ants have a pair of wings. She used to throw it away when she goes for laying the eggs. Eggs hatch and becomes grubs, and grubs change into cocoon. So the process is, the egg hatch and it becomes the grubs, the small ones of the ant, and after that it becomes cocoon, and cocoon breaks to bring forth the complete ant. And from the cocoon comes the ant. The life of an ordinary ant in the anthill is a book which many of us seldom open. So the life of this particular ant is very ordinary, and we don't go for knowing about it, and very few of us know about it. The queen is the mother of the entire population of the colony, and it lives for about 15 years, and it has a pair of wings but bites them off after its wedding flight. So the queen ant is the um, mother of the entire population, and she lives for about 15 years, and it has a pair of wings. It bites it off after the wedding flight, and the flight takes place in the hot summer day, and the queen leaves the nest and goes out to meet a male ant, and that is a drone. High up in the air they go for mating, and on its return to the earth it gets rid of the wings and does nothing but it lays egg. Eggs hatch and grub comes out. Soldiers guard them, workers feed and clean them, and also carry them about daily for airing, exercising, and sunshine. So eggs when get hatched, the grubs comes out, and the soldiers are the ones who guard them, and the workers they feed and clean them, and they also take out for daily airing, exercising, and showing them to the sunshine, and so that they may feel warm. 2 or 3 weeks later, the grubs become cocoon and lie without food or activity for 3 weeks or more. So, after 2 or 3 weeks later, the grubs become cocoon and lie without food or activity for 3 weeks. Then the cocoon breaks and perfect ant appears. Then, after that, the cocoon breaks and ants appear. Now it is a time for teaching and training. After that, they get the teaching and training. New ants learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, and cleaners, etc. So these new ants they learn all the things from the workers, soldiers, builders, and cleaners, and the senior ants. After a few weeks training, the small ants are ready to go out into the big world of work. So after this particular training, these ants are ready to go out for work. An anthill is a home not only for the ants but also for some other creatures, beetles, lesser breeds of ants, and the greenfly. So here the anthill is not only the home for the ants, but it is also for home for some creatures like beetles, the lesser breeds of ant, and the greenfly. So why do ants want these alien creatures to live in their nest? Now, the question is why these alien creatures are allowed to live in the nest. For several reasons, it is. And some give off smell pleasant to the ant senses. So, some of these creatures they give out smell from which is very pleasant for the ant, and others gives sweet juices, and others give sweet juices, and some are just pets or playing things like cats and dogs to the human beings. Some these flies are just like pets for these ants, like cats and dogs for human being. The green fly is an ant's cow. The green fly is just an ant's cow. The ants train it to give honeydew like milk. So the ants train it to give this honeydew like milk, and which a touch of their antenna, just by touching their ends they give milk. They milk it just as we milk the cow, and this milk is taken just as we milk the cow. Have humans learned as much as ants have? Now the question is, has humans learned as much as the ants have? Perhaps they have, but they haven't put their learning to good use. But they have not put their learning to good use. They may still learn a few things from this tiny creature. Now they have to learn lot of things from these tiny creatures. That is hard work, sense of duty, discipline, cleanliness, care for the young ones. All these things are some of the things we should learn from the ants, and above all, a firm loyalty to the land where they live. So these are some of the things we human beings should learn, and especially we have to learn the discipline, the cleanliness, the duty, caring the young ones, and the most important things what we have to learn is the loyalty which they show towards their land where they live. And this is what we have to learn from the ants. Now coming to the comprehension check. How long does it take for the grub to become a complete ant? The grub takes 2 to 3 weeks to become a cocoon, and then there more weeks to become a complete ant. Now second answer is the workers ant clean and uh, feed the grubs and carry them about for daily airing, exercising, and sunshine. The new ants learn 3 duties from old ants: workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners, etc. Some other creatures that live in ant hills are beetle, lesser bears of ants, and the green fly. So these are the answers to the questions. We can learn many things from the tiny little ants, some of them being hardworking, disciplined, caring, young ones, and the way the ants work hard, live a life of disciplined life, care for and teach the young ones. No other creatures can do that. So this is the question answers. Now that's the end of the lesson. Thank you.